Let's kick off then with this one. The headline, a number of the papers have run with this one this morning. Manchester United and Chelsea targeting the outgoing Liverpool sporting director Michael Edwards to improve their recruitment.
Yeah, he's been responsible for bringing the likes of Alisson, Virgil van Dijk, Mo Salah and Sadio Mane and Fabinho to Anfield. So, Rob, the question is, how important could this be for the likes of United with pressure growing on their lack of recruitment this summer? Would he be willing to join rivals?
I think it could be important. I think that everyone in the Premier League recognises that Liverpool have had the best transfer strategy for the last 5 or 6 years. You know, they've just been really superb. Obviously, it's not just him. It's not just Michael Edwards. It's the analytics team as well. And they really have used the data to sort of game the system, as it were. But Michael's been a key part of that. You know, he lives in Manchester. I'm sure he'll move to Manchester. If I was Manchester United, I would have, the minute I knew he was leaving Liverpool, I'd have been all over that. I just worry that in that big system of Manchester United, it doesn't feel very sleek. There's lots of football directors and sporting directors, and you've got Joel Glazer to answer to. Whether he can operate with the same kind of speed and alacrity that he can at Liverpool. And I wonder, you know, again, with Todd Boehly taking over Chelsea, and Todd Boehly is really into sort of the whole analytics side of things, and is close to the, you know, some of the guys at Liverpool who do that. You know, Chelsea that would have been the first thing I would have done as Todd Boehly, would say, well, Michael Edwards is leaving. You know, we need a sporting director. That would be where I would have gone.
Rob, isn't it, this balance between the worry, I guess, of Manchester United fans of not making a signing yet, but you also don't want to be going down that route of chucking good money after bad. And with some of those quotes that Richard Arnold spoke about the other day when he was in a pub with United supporters about the amount of money that they've wasted, they've got to get this right this summer, haven't they, with a new manager in charge? Yeah.
You can see that they are very sensitive to that criticism, aren't they, that they've chucked money sort of overpaid for players in the past, and you know, Harry Maguire is always the one that's cited at them. But you know, look, I would be worried if I was Manchester United if they were just starting on their business now and they haven't got stuff lined up. Then you can be worried. If they know De Jong's going to come, but this is a question of negotiation, then they've kind of got less to worry about. There's two different ways of approaching a summer transfer window. You might have all your targets in place. You might know they want to come to Manchester United, but now you're haggling over the price. So we'll have to see over the next few weeks whether they really are struggling or whether this is quite a cool strategy whereby they know the players want to come. They perhaps know Eriksen wants to come. They perhaps know De Jong wants to come. My big worry for Man United was surely they need a backup centre forward, and you know that's a pertinent thing, isn't it?
OK, I mean, we're talking about the transfers that are needed at Manchester United. You mentioned Eriksen there, but let's start with the Daily Star then, because they're reporting that Cristiano Ronaldo does not want to play for United if the club's lack of transfer activity continues.
Yeah, you touched, Rob, on those links there with the likes of Eriksen, with Frankie de Jong as well. But as we've said, no business yet. Could Ronaldo really walk away or want to make a move away from United if they don't sign enough players quickly enough?
Well, that would be extraordinary, and another twist in what's been quite an extraordinary return, not for the right reasons, really, to Manchester United, but he does dominate the headlines and dominate the narrative, doesn't he? But look, I don't see how United, without a proper centre-forward in place, can let him go at the moment. I mean, I think if he'd said this 3 months ago, there might be people at the club who'd say, well, OK, maybe we burn our bridges and let's sort of look for, you know, let's get Darwin Núñez in and make him our number one. But obviously that ship sailed. They have to keep Ronaldo now until they've got a first-class centre-forward. And whoever that is, you know, whether it's, you know, Richarlison or someone like that, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Richarlison, I'm not saying Richarlison's the right guy, but they must have someone in mind who they can sign. Obviously, that's not the signing Ronaldo's looking for. I'm sure he's expecting to play 38 games next season for 90 minutes.
We spoke to Marcel van der Kraan the other morning. He said that they're all in on Frankie de Jong and Christian Eriksen. But you touch on the centre-forward situation there. I mean, if they don't get these two over the line, then that's going to cause a lot of uncertainty. But surely they need more than just these two signings. They need some mega signings, some eye-catching signings.
Yeah, I don't know about mega signings. I think they need two fullbacks. If I was looking at it, I'd say, well, I would definitely want a new right back. You know, I know they're in for Tyrone Malaria, the final left back. So, you know, there are other sort of more what you might call utility signings, just to sort of bolster the squad. But yeah, I keep coming back to, are you going to start a season with, OK, Rashford can play there and Martial can play there, but Martial, is he, obviously if the club could sell him, they would. These aren't sort of, I don't think Rashford's best position is centre forward. I think he is a wide player. So, you're going to start the season with a 38-year-old centre forward. OK, he's probably the best centre forward in the world, but he is getting old, and he's not going to play all the games next season. So, that would just seem like the massive gap. And yeah, any centre forward is going to be a star signing, aren't they? You're not going to get someone cheap.
Talking of centre forwards, let's head into the Mirror. Dom dumped by the Gunners. The story from Paul Brown that Arsenal are ready to shelve a move for Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, Mikel Arteta had him high up on his transfer wish list, but there's some concerns about his recent form. Rob, would he be a good fit at Arsenal?
Well, I think on one level he would. I think it's a bit harsh to talk about his recent form because he had such an injury-ravaged season, didn't he? But you cannot escape the fact that if you hit an injury, I think it's 5 goals last season, that doesn't put you in sort of transfer territory. That's not like someone who people will want to sort of rush out and buy because you'd want to see him prove himself again. It depends how much faith Arteta's got in him. If he really thinks he's got a player, then he might think, well, I can get him cheap because he's not done so well this season. But his stock has been falling this season, and the Jesus links look pretty strong, don't they, to Manchester City? That's a player Arteta worked with at Manchester City, and obviously Arteta has the links to Pep and might be able to negotiate that one. So yeah, I would, if you were giving me a choice of Gabriel Jesus or Dominic Calvert-Lewin right now, I'd go for Jesus.
Yeah, and it looks a good fit, doesn't it? That almost for both parties, Rob. That with Haaland coming in, there are going to be limited opportunities up front for Manchester City and Arsenal. They can't just go into next season with Eddie Nketiah, can they?
I don't think so. But the concern, well, I'm not concerned with City. They'll be fine, obviously. But, you've got Bernardo Silva so potentially going to Barcelona. Raheem Sterling might be leaving. I know Haaland's coming in, but, there is a lot of activity around Man City who are normally quite... I know there are players they sell, when they feel the time is right, but it's normally pretty stable. And, there might be a few changes there in the front line as well.
Well, away from football, Rob, a lot of papers are highlighting Headingley's return to Test cricket. This is the Times behind us. One ugly fan incident could be the end for Headingley.
Yeah, big day for Yorkshire, isn't it, Rob? And it seems so significant after everything that's gone on over the course of the last year that it all does go smoothly for the county over the course of the next 5 days.
I hope it goes smoothly for the county, and I hope there's no unsavoury incidents, because really that would be the worst thing, obviously. I think when we think back to the report into Yorkshire and the sort of casual racism that seemed to be institutionalised was properly shocking, wasn't it? And Headingley's an iconic venue, but Headingley has had its issues over time, and sometimes that's been with racial abuse. It is... possibly, I think Stokes was saying after Edgbaston that the ground with the most atmosphere, the most drive that can get an England team over the line. So, the party saying no one wants to see that fall off the Test match schedule. No one wants to see Yorkshire in the state they are now, but they have to sort it out. They seem like a county that's just tearing itself apart at the moment, with the number of charges. It may be that the players they've sacked are going for unfair dismissal. They may have to come to a compromise agreement there. So there's so much politics there. It must be very hard to concentrate on the cricket and the season.
Yeah, and the man at the centre of things, Rob, Azim Rafiq, will have extra security when he goes there as a special guest on day 3. Yeah, well, it's good that he's there. That seems to be a sort of possibly a reconciliation or a coming together. Like, the club can only move forward when they deal with these things, can't they? They can only when they embrace this. But the fact that he has security tells you the sort of the unpleasant side of that. That he shouldn't need security to go to his former county. He was brave in the things he said, and it's really hard to speak up and say the things he said. And you get stick and you get abuse for that. I know that's human nature and what happens, but it's terribly sad that he does need security. I hope this is a wonderful test, that it's a wonderfully entertaining test, that the crowd is what we know a Headingley crowd goes off really well.
Morning, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much, guys. Speak to you later.